Hi, my name is Tammy Murphy. I am broker owner of RH2L, bringing the greater Miami Valley real homes to love. Today, we want to talk about helping our aging parents in today's market. There are many of you who may be in a very similar position as myself, where you find you're in this great paradox of life where we're supposed to be living our best life and doing all of the things that we need to do to enjoy an active, productive, and financially rewarding lifestyle where our kids have maybe grown up and we're active in our businesses and our companies, and we still have the wonderful opportunity for our parents to be around and to be alive and to benefit from all of that wisdom and information that they hold. Now, this is a paradox in life because simply it is very uncharted territory as our generations have continued to grow in numbers, with the largest number of baby boomers and then the largest number of millennials, and now you've got your largest number of Gen Z. I mean, it is insane to think about the number of people that are living and hopefully healthy, but obviously still in need of housing and or care or other financial well-being. And how do we make that all work? So while I'm here as a real estate professional, certainly that is my expertise. I found the niche in marketing with seniors was coming into play as our aging counterparts are living in their homes longer than what was expected. So that has added to the deficit in inventory because those houses are not coming up for sale, as elderly people are wanting to stay in their homes and not necessarily go into assisted living. So when we talk about elderly, we could be talking about 60s to 70s to 80s and hopefully even into the 90s, that if health has held out for them, they've been able to stay and maintain those houses for a longer than anticipated or expected period of time. And so now we understand, with that criteria of demographics staying in houses longer and the younger generations coming up looking for houses sooner, this has created this paradigm that we have where we just don't have enough houses on the market. Now, I'm not ready to put my mom into assisted living, nor is she ready to go into that, because she's been fortunate to be healthy and stay in housing on her own. But here comes the next level of issues and things that need to be considered. And I get this asked a lot by people when they suddenly have to step in and start taking care of that aging parent, whereas in the past, they have not had to do that. So one of the things that first comes up is, what do we do with the parent's home if now all of a sudden they're not able to live on their own? And the first thing that I would want to ask is whether or not that aging parent or parents have financial abilities and or insurance, or are they in a Medicare, Medicaid situation? Because the answer to that really helps us to dictate how do we move forward. It is not always just the right, simple, quick, and easy answer to say we need to sell the house and then move forward with getting assisted living for them. And this is one of those things that we sit down and talk with you, hopefully also with the aging parent, so that it can be a conversation to discuss current situation, needs and circumstances, and the desire for what you want for the future. You know, I'm a proponent of multi-generational living, but that is not always the easy or right answer. And so we want to make sure that we address those concerns and move forward. So I did come across this information. I thought they did a really a good job at getting some initial information out there. Of course, there's lots of articles, there's lots of things that are available. And when I see something, I like to then relay that to my clients, to those people who are interested and may have similar situations or questions come up. So the question was, how can I protect my parents' assets from nursing homes? Which ties into this conversation that we've just kind of started down. So this was through Yahoo Finance. And Eric Reed was the writer of this. Now he's giving from his perspective, which isn't necessarily my perspective. So what I want to do is let you know the first thing we do is determine what are your parents' current situation financially. What is their ability and aptitude for being able to take care of maintaining and keeping a house, or selling the house and having resources then to pay for and finance their next level of care, whether that's going to be in an assisted living or facility for short-term or long-term, or medical nursing home facility. There's so many options that are available out there. And so it's good to know what it is that specifically works for them. And this is where that SRES designation that I have helps to add to how do we look at and address the situation, and know that it's not just about getting the sale of a property, but it is actually determining what is the best for the aging parent in your family as it may be necessary to step in. So this particular article is, of course, talking about the nursing home expenses and how outrageous these costs are. Obviously, if it's needed, then there isn't any cost that is over and above the care and life of the loved one that you're trying to protect. But honestly, when you look at what does it cost to live in a home now, and could you hire in services and still keep the home and not have the cost of the housing? There's lots of ways to break down those dynamics. For me, the biggest thing is in the finances. And if you sell the home, but you have to go into state-run or federal insurance plans or programs, then the sale of your home could be seen as liquidating assets that now the entity wants to take advantage of having now to care for that aging family member. I think it's really funny that, as this article points out, there are some levels of living that, of course, come into play. And if you have assets in greater than a set dollar amount, and one example they give is $12.9 million, then you may want to be able to create trusts or do these types of things. Personally, if you have $12 million, you're probably not looking for this type of information. I'm speaking to the parties who is probably living on a limited or fixed budget. Maybe they're living off of their Social Security that they paid into over the course of their lifetime and are now getting a stipend that allows for them to be able to pay for the medical or the groceries or the utilities, because probably the house has been paid for, or maybe they are still having to pay for a home expense. The gist of this is if you are in limited access needs, then you have even fewer options available to you. And so it really does take looking ahead, planning, and knowing what needs to happen for the future benefit, so that you're not caught behind, we'll call it the 8 ball, to say now you have to knee-jerk react to a medical necessity and an urgent need where we don't have housing available, or we have to now tap into funds that we weren't planning to. Oh my gosh, it just gets to be overwhelming, doesn't it? I mean, here I am trying to give you a quick rundown breakdown of what to do if this is coming up where you're taking care of aging parents. And you can see how many paths we've already diverged and said, well, in this scenario or in that. So I will back up and say, this is the reason why you want to talk with someone who has this wealth of knowledge behind as to the many things that may be involved. And I'm certainly not a CPA. I'm not going to tell you what's tax beneficial for you. However, I'm going to tell you that that is a conversation that you absolutely want to have, as well as I'm not giving you legal advice I'm going to tell you, you definitely want to talk to a legal attorney and know what are the rules and requirements within our state and potentially those state run or federal programs that may come in, and how can you best protect the assets. This is something that planning in advance will benefit you and your loved ones, because the last thing you want to do is have a medical necessity or need for housing or any other criteria to come up and not feel like you have the time and opportunity to research what is best for you and for your loved one. So I've spent the day making a spreadsheet and putting down some very minimal types of things that have come across from my own mother, and a medical thing that has creeped up. Been fortunate that she's been healthy, but all of a sudden we've had one thing, just one thing, and it has taken a lot of focus to say, how do we address this? What do we need to do? And me implementing a plan and making sure that my mother is on board with that so that she's served but protected and sees that there is an answer, a way out, or opportunities that she can take advantage of. It just really impressed upon my mind that there is a core nucleus of people that are out there that are going to be or are dealing with this same type of situation. So I wanted you to know you've got a friend in me. You've got someone here who's willing to bounce ideas or share ideas, and certainly share that research and sources of information that is available. If it does come down to it's time and ready and the best thing to do to sell a property, obviously I'd like to be your person, your realtor of choice. But understand that I am being driven by a situation with my own family and knowing where my perspective is from all aspects, and willing to share that information and help hopefully you. And if there's anything that you need or specific questions that you have, I see this is coming up on the, we'll call it the radar of conversations and potentially even more video posts. So feel free, reach out, send me a text, shoot me an email, give me a call. We can meet in person, we can do it online, whatever that would help facilitate maybe that situation that you're dealing with now. And I absolutely look forward to helping anyone that may be going through this. And certainly for our aging parents, they don't want to be called elderly, because you know what? They've lived a very strong, vibrant life, and they hopefully have even more years ahead. But we understand that they are aging in place, and that in itself has a lot of different requirements that we need to address. So I'd love to be your person for that information, and go from there. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that this has helped to spark some interest or at least some conversation. And don't forget, there are options and things available, but doing it ahead of time is always going to be better, and certainly more in this perspective for the loved one that you're taking care of, that they have a part and a say in what they are going to be doing with their future as well. So wish you well. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.